First at noon, two major North American leaders in Providence with the National Governors Association meeting. Day two of the conference at the Rhode Island Convention Center underway with two keynote speeches a couple of hours from now. After a Democratic governor's news conference early this morning, Vice President Mike Pence will speak to the governors and attendees, followed by Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Great deal of security in downtown Providence, of course, due to the presence of these two men, 33 state governors from across the country in the capital city as well. Our team of Eyewitness News reporters is there. Kim Kalunian covering security and logistics. First, we'll go to Jared Pleiner inside the event, which is going on right now.
Patrick, good afternoon. Well, we're just outside the ballroom where everything is set to take place, and we know Prime Minister Trudeau is here in the building because he had a photo opportunity with Governor Gina Raimondo not too long ago, the two exchanging pleasantries and shaking hands. Here's some of that.
Pleasure to meet with Governor Raimondo. Looking forward to a great conversation about all the strong ties between Canada and Rhode Island, and more talk.
And such a large part of this gathering this weekend is attracting international investment directly to the state level. We have delegations here from Canada, from Mexico, from China. And so here's a little bit of the governor talking about the trade aspect in all of this. Take a listen.
I encouraged him to the extent that Canadian startup companies are thinking about a U.S. presence, that they put Rhode Island top of their list. And we talked about the benefits of Rhode Island, especially the cost advantage relative to Boston. He seemed very interested in that. He said it was a good pitch, and we're going to follow up.
The ballroom closed right now. We're told it will reopen at 1 o'clock, and the Vice President and Prime Minister Trudeau expected to address the governors and other attendees during that 1 o'clock hour. But this morning, Patrick, as you mentioned, the Democratic Governors Association called a news conference to take the U.S. Senate to task on its latest health care bill. So let's show you what happened there this morning. Several Democratic governors, including Rhode Island's Gina Raimondo, slamming the new Senate bill overhauling Obamacare. The governors most concerned about its almost $800 billion in cuts to Medicaid as part of a multi-year winding down of Obamacare's expansion of that program. 31 states plus D.C. chose to take part in that growth.
There is by no means consensus among governors that I've spoken to here that they're going to get behind this new bill. This would be disastrous fiscally for Rhode Island, costing us billions of dollars, which we wouldn't be able to afford. I assess their chances as being lower than they'd like, which I think is a good thing for the American people.
Connecticut Governor Dannel Malloy, chair of the Democratic Governors Association, accused Republican gubernatorial candidates of not taking a stand on the legislation and pledged to target them. Malloy and his colleagues said there are Republican governors at this meeting who are worried about Congress's proposals. The GOP's Charlie Baker of Massachusetts, Brian Sandoval of Nevada, and John Kasich of Ohio have previously expressed concerns about federal cuts to Medicaid. Democrat John Bel Edwards is governor of Louisiana, the last state to expand.
Those individuals would not have health insurance coverage. They would then go back to the emergency rooms to be diagnosed with illnesses that were much further along in their disease stages when they can't be treated effectively, and it's the most expensive way to administer treatment. I hope and pray that what's in the Senate today is an absolute non-starter, and they will start over again and do something worthwhile.
And we have reached out to the Republican Governors Association for reaction as to that morning news conference by their Democratic counterparts. We have not heard back, but we have heard from the Republican National Committee, its Chairwoman McDaniel, putting out a statement expressing some frustration that the Republican caucus in the Senate, that there is still a divide there, and there's going to have to be more work to be done if they expect to get the votes they need on board. The Chairwoman writing in part, we just getting this statement a moment ago, if we cannot compromise within our own party, then voters are going to make us accountable. That's not just me. That's what I hear as I travel this country. Again, Vice President Mike Pence and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau expected to address the crowd here in the 1 o'clock hour, and we will be here bringing you more coverage from the summer meeting of the National Governors Association. For now, live with the Providence Mobile Newsroom inside the Convention Center, Jared Pleiner, Eyewitness News.
With two significant heads of state and other top lawmakers visiting Rhode Island, we're getting a look at some serious security around the governor's event. That's as activists planning to protest Mike Pence's policies. Let's go to Eyewitness News reporter Kim Kalunian to get the details on how it's all working.
Well, Patrick, as you mentioned, a very busy day downtown. The Vice President and the Canadian Prime Minister are both on the docket today, which means increased security and some traffic restrictions. As you can see here behind me, this portion of West Exchange Street between the Omni Hotel and the Rhode Island Convention Center is closed to only local traffic. And there will be some other restrictions later this afternoon during an event at the State House and a special lighting of water fire. So expect to plan some alternate routes because those streets around the State House and the water fire area are going to be closed between 4 o'clock this afternoon until 10 o'clock tonight. Now, state police say these closures will lead to some increased traffic. So if you're planning on coming through or to the city this afternoon and this evening, make sure to add some extra time to your commute. And there will also be some protests this afternoon. That's what we're hearing. These protests are expected to happen during the speeches of Trudeau and Pence. Now, there is going to be one group that will be demanding that the North American Free Trade Agreement, also known as NAFTA, be replaced with something that they see as benefiting working people. There's also going to be another group protesting against the president's Health Care Act. So we will be covering both of those protests. We'll bring you the updates tonight on Eyewitness News starting live at 5. For now, reporting live in Providence with the Mobile Newsroom, I'm Kim Kalunian, Eyewitness News.